All right. So, all Pioneer Day today. We are kicking off with a Sidisi Brood Tyrant build around. I do think that Oko plus Gilded Goose is one of the best things you should be doing in this format. So for in blue-green, I've made that happen with the food package. Sidisi, for those not familiar, says when it enters the battlefield or attacks, you put the top 3 cards of your deck into your bin. Whenever one or more creatures are put into your graveyard from your library, you get a 2/2 black zombie. So we've got a number of graveyard synergies in here. We've got Scrapheap Scrounger, Bloodsoaked Champion, and Prized Amalgam. We've got Satyr Wayfinder to do a little bit of self-mill as well. And then we've also got Elder Deep-Fiend at the top end to take advantage of some of these bodies that can come back again and again and again, as well as Smuggler's Copter, which allows us to attack with a 3/3 if we have a weaker creature like Satyr or Bloodsoaked Champion. So let's dive into a league with this one and see how it goes. Tier 2 towards Amps and Rally will do. Hey, Snack Size Biscuit, thank you for the 25 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And Alaric, thanks for the half a year. The Dank Pool coming in hot for a year. If you are someone who's liking or disliking Pioneer content, make sure you have your emails turned on from Twitch or you're in the subs Discord, because I'm going to be sending out a survey at the end of the week to get feedback from subs on how they feel about this new constructed format and the content we've been making for it. My schedule this week's going to be different than what it has been. I'm not doing any standard this week. We're going to do a bunch of Pioneer. We're going to do a little bit of Brawl on Wednesday. Morning, Silly Cheese. Yeah, the old 5-lander in your 19-land deck. Yikes. I guess I'm keeping this. Just realized my 24-month anniversary is the same as my 24th birthday. Some mistakes can never be corrected. Slick Wiku, thanks for the 20 months this month. If you were to come up with a preliminary ban list for Pioneer, what would you have on it? Fetch lands. I like what they did with the ban list for Pioneer. I think the format seems pretty okay where it is at the moment, and I would leave it how it is until proven otherwise. Let's just get the 2/1 here and attack. Our deck's kind of like the scrappy aggro deck to a degree, so we have like some graveyard synergies, but a lot of that is for value and more than like being busted like a dredge style deck. I want to say I'm super happy you aren't playing standard this week. Pretty much every other format is way more fun. You're not wrong, Just Up B. I rate ya. Thanks for the 12 months. Although Modern's been thoroughly invaded by Oko 2. Been working in a playstyle Wi-Fi, so I've been able to catch you live. I feel you where standard's at. Yep. I did see the lock him up chant at the World Series. I gained a lot of respect for people that watch baseball. Thought that was quite excellent. Right on time, 2-drop. Right on time. And then I think I'm just doing this. I could pay 2 and bring this back. So Bloodsoaked Champion's a 2/1. That raid means if you attacked with something this turn, you can pay 2 and return it from your graveyard to the battlefield. I think I'd rather just Prized Amalgam. So I'm going to start by attacking with Prized Amalgam and see where we go from there. Because if they block the Prized Amalgam, I can, like, if they have, like, Collected Company here, they could go, like, block and then Coco. Alright, so now I have to decide, do I want to go Wicked Wolf or do I want to go Scrapheap plus Satyr? I'm going to go Scrapheap plus Satyr, I think. Because if the Satyr mills over an Amalgam, I'm probably going to bring back Bloodsoaked Champion. Wow, straight up swing and a miss. I have a backup here on Scrapheap, though. A Court of Calling. Interesting. The part I've been loving about Pioneer having no ban list is that cards like Cat and Delve cards and some others looks like they end up being fine. That would have been banned in the format. Yeah, I agree. I think Wizards starting out with a super minimal ban list, and oh, they have a main deck Scavenging Ooze. Well, I can never beat that card. Not game one without removal. Let's get my riders and my trophies in here. Wicked Wolf is probably too slow. What do I want to trim here? Morning, Duggernaut. Thanks for the 17 months. We're not really a dredge deck. We're closer to like a graveyard aggro deck than like an all-in dredge deck, right? Like it's not like I'm playing a ton of self-mill style effects. We're also like just playing like on rate or slightly above rate creatures and attacking. Yeah, we're like aggro that's like looking to have some staying power as we get into the mid game. How's the inflation of the cube been with shillings? So, I can't really know yet the answer, Komake, because it's going to take people a little bit to accrue enough points to bump things larger amounts. I had a number of people cash in to bump for 1 point, so we'll see. This week, people should hit enough shillings to, like, bump things for 5 points, and next week, maybe 10 points, so we'll see where it goes from there. But it's gonna take me, like, a month or two to really have good metrics on, like, what's working and what's not. Oko's also pretty decent with cards like Bloodsoaked Champion because they just like provide a body to use again and again and again. Hey, thanks for the 2 months, Smit. I appreciate the continued support. Welcome back. That's not how the internet works. You're supposed to pass off wild speculation with minimal data as facts. That you're not wrong. So you got 6 power in play here now, which is great. Let's go ahead and get our beatdowns on. It's enough for our opponent. 6 power on turn 3. Deck's busted. I don't think I want Aether Gust here. Need to actually kill Scavenging Ooze. Do I want Thoughtseize on the draw? I feel like I might want Thoughtseize on the draw. I don't know what I want to cut, though. I don't really have a cut. I'm just going to run it back. Do I have Pioneer decks on my website? I have not. I need to get more experience with the format to figure out exactly what's reasonable. Like, it cost me... In addition to costing me time to put decks up on the website, it cost me money as well. So, like... There's a video of... Or there's a page of all my Pioneer videos up on my website, and there's deck lists in the video descriptions, but I haven't put up like individual deck pages. I loved what you did with the standard page. Well, I mean, Watsy did that to my standard page. I didn't have a choice. Oko showed up and messed my stuff up. This looks fine. What am I throwing back here? I'm gonna throw back Trophy. Curious from people who have been around longer than me. At 70% Oko rate, indicative. Are there any other standards that have been this out of whack, or historically are we in bad territory? I wish we could say historically we're in bad territory, but historically standards just been like rancid dog poop for a while. I'm starting to think that like that play design didn't actually fix anything, that they just like got a little bit lucky. It feels like they just got a little bit lucky. As an outsider looking in, like the couple of okay-ish standard formats that we had last year. Yeah, it's impossible to know too. Like maybe they made recommendations and the recommendations didn't get. Anyway, regardless of what actually happened, like the end result is fundamentally the same thing still happening. So something's broken. That's a good point. That it's unfair to assume that play design is the thing that's broken. There are a variety of things that could be broken. And this card's really bad for us, huh? Yeah, that's another part of it too is like Standard was like not amazing, but it was fine when Field of the Dead was legal. So like the part where they like took an okay format and turned it into crap with a decision they consciously made, it's like pretty offensive in my opinion. All right, so Gideon can meet a swift end here. Unfortunately, I'm not sure that like our deck's actually going to be able to compete with what they have going on in terms of their fair game plan. I think I'm just shocking this in. And then casting Murderous Rider, casting Scrapheap, and passing. Alright, so they're courting for a bunch. Oh, am I dead to Vanafear? I bet we're dead to Vanafear. They have, Eyeless Watcher. When this enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 tokens. Okay. I assume we're about to get combo killed here. Eldrazi Displacer. Eldrazi Displacer goes infinite with Eyeless Watcher, right? Because this makes 2 things. And these things sack for... Oh, no, that's not true. They need a what's it called? They need a couple other things. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think we can win, right? Even without a combo happening, we're just like very dead here. And that feels like it makes a lot of sense. In my experience, like playing creature combo decks in Modern, like the only draws that you lose to out of these graveyard style value decks are like their absolute best draws, and these decks in Pioneer just don't seem like they have the tools to be super aggressive. I went to F&M where I could always expect 15 to 20 people playing Standard. There were 5, including myself. Oko turned my social life into an elk. Yep. If there's any regulars coming in that are wondering why there's no Standard on the schedule today, we're not playing any Standard this week. Standard's been turned into an elk. There's a reason I'm playing some Brawl for my daily rewards and looking into a Mana Trader subscription. It's Elks, yep. When and in how many formats will Oko get the Banhammer? I don't know. I think Oko's probably fine in these older non-rotating formats. I was watching Caleb Durward stream the other night, and he said he wasn't convinced this card was good in Pioneer, which I think is silly in him saying that it's not good. I think it's definitely good, but I think him being uncertain if it's good is probably a good indicator that it's probably not broken like it is in Standard. Yikes. These hands, man. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'm interested to see what my viewer count looks like this week, what my sub count looks like, what the sub survey looks like. If you're someone that likes lots of Pioneer, or you're someone that wants more Standard back, you're going to want to make sure you fill out the sub survey I'm going to send out at the end of the week. If you're someone who's thought about subbing in the past and want to have input on the future of the channel, this is a good week to sub, so you can have some input on that. For the record, I'm playing Oko in my Vintage deck this week at Vintage Champs. Sounds right. Math checks out. We're just going to Wicked Wolf the crap out of that one, right? Cast Flame Tongue Kavu, attack for 3. I want more Arena, but not more Standard. Yeah, and like, that's the problem with Arena, right? Like, WotC is sabotaging their success with Arena. People want not the current format, basically. They're just taking EDF here. I could take a land and then Once Upon a Time again. I think I'm gonna take the EDF. I have open submissions for some Brawl decks, but I was originally planning to do Brawl 2 days this week because we can still Brawl every day until Wednesday with their special opening event. But in the first 24 hours of telling people I was taking Brawl submissions, I got 0 Brawl submissions. So the interest and engagement surrounding Brawl also seems similarly not particularly high. In fact, I still have 0 Brawl submissions. So if we don't get any submissions, I'm gonna pick some decks to play myself for Wednesday, but nice Collected Company. Pay 4 mana, get an instant speed Gilded Goose. What a constructed playable card. You think they have another Collected Company? What if I just, like, upkeep, like, EDF, tap their stuff? That's probably silly. Start with this. You're saying people don't want to play an Elk as their commander? Yeah. Yeah, I've heard Oko's all over that format, too. To give folks a preview of my sub-survey that's going to be coming up at the end of the week, one of my questions in the sub-survey is, if there's little or no MTGA content on my channel until the next set release, will you be unsubbing? Because that's a question I need to know the answer to. Because if people aren't going to leave in droves not doing Arena content, we're probably going to take time off of Arena content because the format's real bad. Wicked Wolf just gets to keep smorking on in here, since we have Goose threatening to make a food for it. Just wait for them to balance Oko. We made a new 3-mana walker, and it turns other walkers into elks. Maybe. Oh, I can't Scrapheap Scrounger this turn. That's how Reflector Mage works. Yeah, I guess we're just passing. It's unfortunate. I took a DNA test and turns out I'm 100% elk. Something like that. They accept my submission for a build around a vehicle. You should put all submissions through the form on my website. Yeah, and that's the metric I'm looking for, Big Daddy. Like, if I cut out most or all of the Arena content, I'm still planning to do a bunch of Magic. This is still a Magic stream. But like, it'll be mostly Pioneer until the next set. And we'll see. That's why I collect data. I'm gonna be watching my numbers this week and be tracking to see what the viewer counts look like. If there's a pretty resounding like, we want you to play standard, then we'll play some standard. But if there's not a very resounding, we want standard. Yeah, we're gonna have Mythgard on the schedule also. In fact, one of the questions on the survey is about Mythgard too, to see how Mythgard has resonated with subs so far. I've been watching your Pioneer and Modern videos, and I can't bring myself to watch any. Yeah, I don't think you're alone. MTGO is ugly, but Standard's uglier than MTGO. The sad truths. Selfless Spirit's pretty annoying. Are they dead? Are they dead to this Deep-Fiend? They're dead to this Deep-Fiend, right? Because this emerges for 6, so I can emerge off the Goose and go tap 1, 2, 3, 4 blockers. And then they block 3 and take 5, right? They're dead. Tap 1, 2, 3, 4 blockers. They block a 3 power guy. They take 5. So, emerge means you sacrifice a creature, and then your emerge cost is reduced by that creature's converted mana cost. So, we sack the Goose, which makes this emerge cost go from 7 to 6. And then the Goose made 1 mana, and we have 5 lands. Yeah, I saw it. It looked like the Lotus Box folks really created a monster. And nobody wants to see monster no more. They want Oko. Tef's Chop Liver. Alright, what are we doing here? Smuggler's Copter sounds great. Pioneer seems to be somewhere in the 4.5 to 5.5 range for the average turn kill. Which I think is a very good spot for the format to be. I think I want some removal spells here. The question is, how do I want to fit them in? Bloodsoaked Champion's probably pretty medium in this matchup. I think I want these two. Smuggler's Copter blocks their flying creatures. It also attacks through, which is nice. These things block nicely. Let's trim around the edges. I guess Vraska is spiking because it kills Oko. Yeah, I think Vraska is also just like a good. It's like a pretty good Planeswalker in this format in general, not just because of Oko, but because like its stat lines in general. I think that's definitely helped. I'm gonna throw back Goose and Breeding Pool here, I think. Yeah, Vraska's also good with Oko. How much money for you to make a black-white control list? All the details on what it costs to submit decks for various things can be found on my website here. And please use the form on my website should you actually want to submit things. There is no 100k option on the shillings. Shillings stop at 50k by bumping a deck by 10 points currently. Yeah, and like trophying this on the draw is like, well, I took the Oko off the table, but now like I'm behind 2 lands basically. Like they can produce 5 mana this turn. I only have 2 lands and I have no board. Alright, since we hit the land up naturally, I'm just going to Prized Amalgam here. And then next turn, hopefully, Satyr Wayfinder finds a land, and we go Satyr plus Scrapheap Scrounger. I don't think I'm going to do the option of timeout mods. It's just too much to track. I can't automate that. I have to do it manually, and I just don't want to take out another thing to track manually at the moment. Morning, Savage. Happy 2 months. Welcome back. Nissa Vastwood Seer, yep. Cryptic is a card I thought I'd be seeing more of in Pioneer. Well, I mean, like, until we have a good idea of, like, what the threats are people are playing, like, playing specific narrow answers like that is less than ideal. So, like, Abrupt Decay is less flexible than Assassin's Trophy. Yeah, I agree, Pear. Hopefully, I hope Wizards of the Coast numbers on Arena are currently tanking. And honestly, that's part of the reason I want to do more Magic Online too, is because like me streaming and playing a bunch of Arena encourages other people to do the same. And like the only way Wizards is gonna dial back. Hey, Squat Chief, thanks for the host. Hope you had a good stream this morning. So you were doing some Pioneer as well when I signed on. Let's give you a sword so you can chat. Probably lead on Smuggler's Copter here, because we can play Scrapheap on 3 and crew it an attack. Hexproof. If we're picking obvious mistakes throughout Magic's history, Hexproof is the biggest design mistake ever. The best way to get Wizards to change how they're managing Arena and Standard is to stop playing Arena and Standard. You vote with your time. Would really love to draw an untapped land here so we can Murderous Rider this turn. Protection is awful. I think Protection is one of those mechanics that like it can look okay on the right subset of cards. Just like Energy wasn't an inherently bad mechanic. It was just they got some of the numbers on it wrong. Delve has been a pretty bad mechanic to be honest. I don't think that's true either. Like I think Delve's another one of those things that's like a victim to the circumstances in which it's existed so far. Like, take this current format, for example. It's definitely land please. It's definitely feeling like the delve spells are like somewhere between, are like actually fair and balanced in this format. And that's in large part due to the fact that like there aren't a bunch of fetch lands running around. Yeah. Yeah, like the delve cards were fine inside of Standard. Scissor, thank you for doling out some sub gifties. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. You think Hexproof is a worse design mistake than Dredge or Storm? Yeah, I do. I think mechanics like Dredge and Storm can be difficult to look at and know that they're going to be a mistake just by looking at them. Whereas, like, it's very apparent the types of gameplay patterns that, Hexproof is going to generate are very obvious to anybody with a brain. And they should be gameplay patterns that you're not excited to encourage. Oh, you know what? I should have taken the Botanical Sanctum as my second blue, huh? So, I don't have a source for it offhand, so I might be repeating bad information. But I'm pretty sure there was a Morrow article at one point that the reason why they dropped Shroud for Hexproof was because a lot of newer players were using Shroud like it was Hexproof anyways. So they just changed the mechanic to match how people thought it was supposed to work. I'm doing Spell Monster, man. I would like to block your 2-3 with my 3-3. Was that a misclick? It must have been a misclick, right? I recall Morrow discussed that about guys. Hopefully that's accurate, not just me making stuff up. But I'm pretty sure I heard that at one point. I think Pioneer will be the format that people flock to if Standard isn't fun, or will Standard be completely replaced by Pioneer? Well, Standard's not going anywhere. Wizards going to continue to try and push Standard as their premier tournament format for forever, right? Like Standard is Wizards' moneymaker. People who aren't interested in putting up with. I think Pioneer is going to be successful for two reasons. One, I think you're right that it is going to be what people flock to when Standard sucks. But I also think that there's a lot of people who have been playing Modern for a long time that are completely disenfranchised with Modern, and they're only playing Modern because they like playing Magic. They haven't liked the play patterns of Modern for a long time. And they've been waiting for something like Pioneer to show up to give them an alternative where they can play a non-rotating format. It's weird that we accept things like okay for enchantments to basically be hexproof versus red-black decks while thinking hexproof is a bad mechanic. Yeah, that's actually something I've liked about Mythgard a lot. They don't limit what colors can interact with what card types, which is really nice. It makes the games a lot more interactive on average. We're pretty dead here at this point, it feels like. Like I have a 3-3, I guess, but like we just haven't had enough lands this game. You honestly think they built? I think that's putting too much thought into it, Don the Mage. I think Magic was due for a new non-rotating format. Like, for context, Modern is currently as large as Legacy was when Modern was created. So, like, if the plan is every time our newest non-rotating format hits 60 sets in it, we create a new one, like that seems like a reasonable metric in line to me. Formats are products. Products need succession. Yeah, I agree. In fact, I'd probably argue we were overdue for it, but like, if there's like a line that they want to have, like, that seems fine. Are you crediting them with planning? I mean, they do plan. Like, so like, one of the problems with Wizards of the Coast isn't that they don't think ahead and don't plan things out. They definitely think ahead and plan things out. The issue is that their departments are disconnected and they don't work together. Been loving the Pioneer count even though I don't make it live often. Well, thanks for the 12 months, McBennett. I appreciate that. Remember, if you want to make your voice heard in Hoaglandia content, make sure you fill out the sub-survey that I'm going to send out at the end of the week. I'm going to be plugging the fact that I'm going to be sending out a sub-survey at the end of the week a lot this week, in an attempt to hopefully bait some people who are close to subbing into subbing so they can give input on the channel. I think that's something I should probably do. Probably nets me a few extra dollary dues. I think Watts will implement Pioneer in the future. I have no idea. I think they don't seem to think Arena is supposed to be anything other than Standard, so hoping that it's going to be anything other than Standard seems silly. I think that sentiment's really rude and you can have a timeout for it, Silly Cheese. Silly Cheese said, I hope that Pioneer kills Modern, and that's just rude. It's just being an asshole. Like, just because you don't like something doesn't mean other people can't like it. Like, I personally not really enjoying Modern. Haven't enjoyed Modern for a long while. Once we finish the Modern queue, I'm probably not going to take more Modern decks. But that doesn't mean that I hope it goes away. Like, other people enjoying Modern doesn't like hurt me in any way. Let other people like things. How do gifted subs impact the sub survey? Well, one of the questions in the sub survey is what type of sub you are, and I cross-check to make sure that that's relevant. Like, for example, my tier 2 and my tier 3 subs, I weight their answers more. So, the sub survey is not anonymous. Man, we just cannot catch a break today, huh? It's like all the main deck graveyard hate. Do gift sub answers get discarded? They don't get discarded, but they're weighted less. When I sort through. Your voice does not matter less. Amazon and Prime subs, I weight the same as tier 1 subscriptions because on my back end, they're worth the same to me. So tier 2 and tier 3 subs for reference are the $10 and $25 subs. Thanks for the 19 months, Red. I usually don't weight sub duration because a lot of people are like on again, off again subs. Speculating on like, would Oko be less offensive if X is kind of a pointless exercise because he's not X, he is what he is. When you say tier 3 subs are about the weight of a whale, yeah, they're the Hoaglandia whales. Thanks for the 19 months, Red. Thanks for the 9 months, Canoe. Hey, appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, Prime and tier 1 subs weight less than tier 2 and tier 3s. If Wizards did power level errata, it would be worth thinking about. They don't, so it isn't. Yeah, exactly those feelings, Pelly. Completely agree. Starting to like Pioneer, hope the format will get even more interesting. Yeah, I'll be interested to see how it develops. They exiled my food. That's rude. That put her to 3 though, so like I have 3 power creatures at the moment. I give Jeff my Prime sub because he's the hardest working streamer in Hoaglandia and adjacent territories. Thanks, Don. He refreshed my memory why WotC won't put Pioneer on Magic Green. Okay, again, like, and this is something people regularly don't understand how software works, so like I don't blame you too much, I guess, but like Wizards can't just snap their fingers and put all of Pioneer into Arena. That's not how software works. The thing you should be expecting is not, you shouldn't be asking yourself, why isn't Pioneer on Arena? The thing you should be asking yourself is, why isn't Historic supported more? The issue with Wizards' announcement is not that no one reasonable should expect Pioneer to instantly be on Arena. What is reasonable to expect, though, is that they fully support the format that is on Arena. So why aren't there historic PTQs and historic Grand Prix and historic Player Tour event or Mythic Invitational? That's what you should be looking for. No, I tell you, like, then pretty much the only thing Christy does is social media managing, Tuber. Everything else around here is me for the most part. Yeah, something else people don't realize that, like, Magic Online didn't have all the sets from the start either. Another thing to consider is Magic Online, oh wow. Oh, that's a pretty huge mistake. Alright, well. How about I play this Scrapheap Scrounger? So, they could have made this Scavenging Ooze bigger, so I couldn't do this, but they didn't. So, you know, good luck, Godspeed. Thanks. Thanks for the Scavenging Ooze. I appreciate you. Modifying Oko to make it balance is a pointless thought exercise. It doesn't serve any purpose and it's not useful. Thanks for the 15 months, Hider. Welcome back. I'm planning to do Modern on Thursday morning, by the way, if you didn't see the schedule. So I think you had mentioned sending me an updated Bring to Light Niv deck for Modern. So if you want to do that, make sure you send it to me before Thursday. Obnixilis Reignited. Yep. No, that's not how software development works. You can't just translate from one completely unrelated programming language to another. It just doesn't work that way. Just gonna exile their whole bin here. Why didn't I attack with the wolf? Because I'm dumb. I failed to make the good play because I'm dumb. Morning, Arjun. I just dream when my children wake me up. Yeah, I should have attacked with the wolf and left the Satyr Wayfinder back. That's what I should have done. They had made that claim at one point, and it's something Nox actually pointed out too. So one of the things, and this would be smart of them to do if they did it. One of the claims Wizards had made early in Arena's development cycle is that they had developed an engine where they enter the rules text of a card instead of hard coding them manually. And, like, ideally, that's how it should work. And you just have to, like, make sure the engine understands abilities, but that still doesn't make it automatically program everything like that, right? Like, there's unforeseen interactions and stuff like that, too, that occur. There are no basics here. Yeah, their tireless tracker is going to be a rather large elk. And as for the question about Wicked Wolf versus Oko, I don't know. That could go either way. Without like an endless stream of food, Wicked Wolf is pretty medium. I just really hope they're not going to stop printing complicated cards because of Arena. That sounds silly. So, like, another thing, too, is, like, your statement there, I think, is silly because it sounds to me like you're thinking that complex cards are more difficult to program, which, like, might be true to a degree. But just because something takes time to do doesn't mean it's computationally or programmatically difficult to do. Like, there are plenty of things that are, like, they're just tedious to do. Like just because something takes a while to do doesn't mean it's necessarily complex, right? Like, doing 1,000 arithmetic problems by hand isn't complicated, it just takes a while. How do you monetize it? For WotC, they put Pioneer in Arena and I don't have a... Like, well, how... That's like... Like, okay, Don, here's a question for your statement, because I think your statement is awful. Can you explain why the current monetization model of making people buy booster packs doesn't work for Pioneer? Like, can you put that into words to explain your position? Because your position seems pretty awful to me on the outside looking in. I don't understand why you think the current monetization model doesn't work for this. They are dead on board. I'm going to make another 3/3. Because it cannibalizes standard. Why? I mean, they've been doing that for a while, Anatrox. So it was actually during Shadows of Innistrad that there was an article that talked about, what was the article? The article talked about how they were changing, I'm going to cut Bloodsoaked Champion because they have Kaya in their deck, so this seems real bad there. They were the digital team and the Moto team and the card design team were working hand in hand to, like, make sure things worked. And the card they gave as an example was Emrakul the Promised End. Emrakul the Promised End was a card that they ended up templating slightly differently, so it was more practical for it to exist in Moto's form. Yeah, I agree, Burgle. Scrapheap Scrounger has been kind of okay, just like trucking along. But in general, the Deep-Fiend, we've actually yet to cast a Sidisi, which is sad. I've not boarded them out at all. We've just not drawn them in any game where they've been relevant. Saying definitely needed a third Deep-Fiend. Yikes. Alright, well, you know, we just put 4 non-lands on the bottom, so hopefully we're going to draw some. Land. Perfect. Never didn't have it. You think we will realistically see an update to standard in the next 2 weeks? No, I'm not holding my breath. I assume they're just not going to do anything. Was about to close Arena, but then MTGA.exe stopped responding, so I didn't have to. Yeah. I don't know. I used to be able to say, like, at least Magic as a game is great, but lately I haven't even been able to say that about Standard, so it's been a pretty mixed bag, basically. I think I'm just trading Wicked Wolf for their Scavenging Ooze. I just can't afford this to get out of range. And then, like, next turn we can go Satyr Wayfinder plus make a food, and then we can start putting Calamari into play. Scooz is fairly popular in Pioneer. I think that statement's pretty lazy and bad. It's something that a lot of people do pretty frequently. You, like, watch 3 matches of Magic and then, like, speculate that, like, the 3 matches of Magic you just watch extrapolate into the format as a whole. Because it's much easier to believe that, like, your small amount of anecdotal evidence is factual as opposed to, like, waiting and seeing. Waiting and seeing is boring. Making wild speculation is exciting. Morning, Just John. Here comes Scavenging Ooze back. Of course, Monster Man. For years, WotC printed good cards that are instantly soft graveyard hate like Skews and Kaya. These cards are not good enough to come modern. They're closer to good and Pioneer. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that sentiment. I'm going to go ahead and return this in response. And then playing so much Magic every week has made you more pessimistic about Magic, or has it really gone downhill like you've been saying? Here's a fact. Instead of you calling me a pessimist, can you explain to me why I'm wrong? Why the things I'm saying are incorrect? You have 10 minutes, otherwise I'm gonna ban you. Someone set a timer. Someone set a timer for last Eve there. It's a good baseline. Don't just tell me I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong. Help me learn, educate. All right, I'm gonna do this and get a bigger creature into play here, so that way I can also attack this for 3. Instead of just calling me a pessimist, actually engage intelligently and be like, Jeff, this is why your feelings are off base. Here's the information that disagrees with the words that you're saying. I hate that background that we have in the world today, where if you're just like telling the truth, but it's the truth people don't want to hear, they like say, well, you're just biased, instead of explaining why you're wrong and your bias exists. Like, don't just call me biased. Tell me why what I'm saying is wrong, because I have bias impacting it. Like, think critically and engage with my statement. Don't just be lazy. Your words make people sad, so the wrong. I mean, like, you're saying that as a joke, but that's kind of the truth, right? Like, that's how things end up. Like, I dislike what you're saying, so what you're saying is wrong, but I'm not gonna tell you why it's wrong. It's like, get out of here. I don't care about their semantics. Not that you're hopeful that it might get better. Yeah, so like, tell me they can still come at that from a fact-based perspective. They can still come at that from the perspective of, Jeff, historically things always get better, or this isn't a normal pattern and this is why. Like, if you look at the information surrounding Standard, this is the normal pattern. The expectation is that this is going to continue to be bad, right? Like, Standard has been bad more often than it's been good for the last 3 years. All right, so when they enter combat here, I'm going to go ahead and emerge off this Scrapheap Scrounger. And we're going to diddle this. Am I just tapping them off of black here? I'm just going to tap them off of black. I guess Goose still makes black. That costs them a food, so that sounds fine. There's always a tier 1. So, like, one of the things that gets muddled in these ban discussions is people who think that there should never be a best deck. And that's definitely not what we're saying. In fact, that's the big difference, in my opinion, between the field ban and not. Like, when field was legal, there was a clear best deck, but the gameplay patterns were better than the gameplay patterns we're currently experiencing, which is a big deal. All right, so I have another Elder Deep-Fiend here, which is great. We might be able to win this game through squid tempo. The viewer count for Pioneer streams have been good for Magic Online, to set a low bar. but Arena numbers have also been down because Standard's bad right now. So, like, good for Magic Online is better than Arena lately. On both Thursday and Friday, I lost viewers when we switched to playing Magic Arena and Standard. Third squid's the charm, chat. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the dredge package in this deck. Seems a little bit weak, but Elder Deep-Fiend's still great. I love this card. Oko is one of the best planeswalkers ever printed. Thanks for the 17 months. No lava. Ooh, Trophy as the last card's real good here. Mom spaghetti, knees weak, arms are heavy, the squid on the sweater already. Do. Yeah, I agree. And actually, I think that's why, in my opinion, that's why the previous Standard format was so reasonable with Field of the Dead, because there was a boogeyman, but it was a very attackable boogeyman, right? Like there are very clear tools in the previous Standard format where you could attack Field of the Dead. You could play a bunch of Disdainful Strokes. You could play Questing Beast. You could go under their 5-mana sweeper. How about the 4th Elder Deep-Fiend, chat? How does that make you feel? Alright, so upkeep, we're gonna squid my squid. Am I gonna squid my squid? Do I squid my squid, or do I wonder if I just block with Gilded Goose here? I feel like I almost want to wait. I'm gonna wait. Turn Q, thank you for the 7 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Blocking with Goose does lose to removal off the top, but I think it's more likely to win the game as a whole. And actually, it doesn't lose to removal, right? Because if they kill this, I could flash this in and jump block with it. Like, we probably still lose that game, but like, I think this is fine. Oh, that's super wrong. I shouldn't have tapped both blue sources. They have a Thoughtseize or a removal spell. I get super punished here. Wow, super punished for burning the food. Just gonna take Satyr Wayfinder here. Okay, that ditched a Scrapheap Scrounger, so that's nice. Says a lot about Oko, where one card was holding it back from being tier 0 and it was Field of the Dead. It is a very large scoos. The tempo squids have been doing work here, though. I think they should have just banned nothing. I think they either should have banned nothing or they should have kicked the legs out from under something else as well. So I could exile that Murderous Rider to Scrapheap Scrounger, but I don't think that matters. I guess Satyr Wayfinder was kind of a bad take because it gave the scoos a bunch of food here. Yeah, I guess that's true. I was kind of hoping to hit an 8th land, but I met a lovely gentleman on Friday who insisted that Oko was a very fine card and you could now play your brews because Field of the Dead was gone. Listen, lots of stupid people exist in the world. Millions of them voted for Trump. Time Lord, thank you for the very generous tier 3 resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Sure to drop something off in the forum. Let me know what you'd like to see this month with that. Or if there's something already in the queue you'd like to bump up, you can let me know as well. Pray for the 5th squid. Squid be with us. Squid be with us. I've heard Brawl is also Oko format. And in Brawl, you can always cast your Oko on 3 if you want, right? Alright, we're on the scoreboard. We beat Scavenging Oozes and Kayas. I voted for Trump. All right, have a ban. People that vote for bigotry and the demeaning women aren't allowed in my channel. You can always, it's always the gift subs too. It's never not the gift subs. It's the one downside to the gift subs. People like that slip through. Never forget, chat. Only 2 types of people support Donald Trump: idiots and millionaires. And if you're uncertain which group you fall into, double check your checking account. Not saying that Oko is imbalanced or anything, but I'm kind of glad it's more popular than Embercleave because I get rolled pretty hard with my Vraska Treachery decks. Yep. You're assuming I have a checking account? Oh, the millennial life is sad sometimes. Alrighty, look at that. We got a curve, chat. Put my tier 2 towards Emery Ascendancy Pioneer. Yeah, definitely, Rainer. I did catch the stadium chanting "Lock him up." As a Republican until they nominated Trump, I ended up voting third party last time. Hope the Dems nominate. To be fair, it's a pretty low bar to get someone better than Hillary. Hillary was a pretty spectacularly bad candidate for a variety of reasons. Her redeeming qualities were she wasn't a racist or a sexist, which is like, if you can't say positives about someone. Oh no. Oh no. We fragged. I had no justice, MTG. I appreciate you. You were a misclick. Yeah, AOC is too young to be president. The United States is 25 for House, 30 for Senate, 35 for president. Yeah, I think that's very likely, Just John. Alright, so probably a Spell Queller turn. Do I even jam into a Spell Queller here? I feel like I don't, right? I'm just gonna attack for 5 and then probably play a tapped land. Yeah, she's very, very similar to status quo Joe. Joe, nothing will fundamentally change Biden. As someone who gave Buttigieg money at one point this election cycle, I am incredibly disappointed with his pivot on Medicare for All and the attack-based position he took following the previous Democratic debate, and I've since removed him from my list of primary people I'm considering. Thanks for the 10 months, John. I appreciate it. Let's not say things like that. Let's talk about specifics of the positions that we don't like. Thoughts on Yang? I think Yang's got some reasonable ideas, but he's also got some medium ones. Like he took to Twitter to defend Tulsi Gabbard, which is not something that I was a huge fan of. Who am I looking to vote for? Elizabeth Warren. I did give Yang some money, but the more I hear, like, the way he defended Tulsi, like, didn't sit well with me. Thanks for the 3 months, Jay Riot. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thoughts on Bernie Sanders? If Bernie Sanders was a decade younger, I'd vote for him in a heartbeat. The problem with Bernie Sanders is that he could very realistically have health issues mid-election. So until I know who Bernie's running mate is, I won't vote for him. If Bernie has a super progressive running mate, he would be my top pick. My worry is that Bernie is gonna pick someone more moderate than him as his running mate to try and appeal to people. And he might not. That might not be something he'd do, but there's a chance that happens, and I would not be happy with that. When do they pick running mates? A lot of times not till after the primary. I know you thought I wouldn't see the U-White approach deck that tried in I know you thought I wouldn't see the U-White approach deck that we tried in Modern Epic. Yeah, it was much better in Pioneer. My current leading pick for the Democratic primary is Elizabeth Warren. I think her educational background, God, that's a beating. So this exiles all my Wicked Wolves to the Declaration in Stone. I get 2 clues. Yeah, Tulsi has a less than stellar past. And all I'm gonna say about Tulsi is there's a reason why many Republicans like Tulsi. To set a low bar, yes, she'd be better than Trump, but what would I consider my political stance to be? I consider my political stance to be the stance of empathy. I think people shouldn't go broke because they can't afford to pay their medical bills. I think we should treat people based on the contents of their character and not the color of their skin or where they're from or who they love. I've got some pretty radical stances, basically. And in the United States, those 2 positions make me a far left radical. I agree that some of that with Yang doesn't sit well with me, Rhinograth. Pandering to specific types of people in that way. Radical like a cool surfer dude. Definitely surfer dude. Man, we played against a lot of Spellquellers in this league, huh? I think actually Wicked Wolf gets cut here, because like having a bunch of 4-mana spells against Spellqueller is like not stellar. I think I want all my Doom Blades, and then Bloodsoaked Champion again just doesn't attack well into Spellqueller. I'll leave one Wicked Wolf in. Seems fine. Using Wolf on Rattle Chains is not the better play. The Rattle Chains was hexproof Delve, so I couldn't Wolf it. Top 5 Tulsi problems. Weirdly anti-LGBT history. Changed unconvincingly. Weirdly pro-Syria. Weirdly pro-Russia. Not great on refugees. Closer to Trump than any other Democratic candidate. Super ready to be third-party spoiler. Yep, I agree. As a European, I try to keep an objective view on politics in the US, but man, for the last few decades, it seems like a vast majority of problems were caused by or perpetuated by Republicans. It seems difficult to not despise them if you aren't one of them. Yeah, I mean, like, the Republican Party exists today in the United States based on single-issue voters and people who are wildly uninformed. Those are the bread and butter of the Republican Party. Yeah, Tulsi took way too long to come around on impeachment as well. From a European point of view, USA Democrats are to the right and Republicans are not far from the far right. That's accurate. Especially Democrats like Joe Biden. Like, Joe Biden's definitely center right. Like, people like Bernie and Warren, like, are probably slightly left of center. Honestly, it's funny. I think People are like, aren't you worried about losing people when you talk about politics on stream? I think my politics are so moderate compared to the rest of the world that, like, when people outside the United States, like, hear me talk about, yeah, we should have healthcare here, they're like, yeah, of course you should have healthcare, Jeff. That's just the humane thing to do. See, CEOs profiting millions of billions of dollars off people getting sick is just silly, Jeff. Morning, Swag. If your Twitch emails aren't working on occasion, you should pop into the subs Discord. I always ping there when I go live. All right, so something, and we're gonna move off of politics here in a minute because I do like to only do so much of it. But something that's never welcome in my channels is they're all the same, or they're all bad, or we have to choose, we're choosing between the lesser of two evils, implies that all things are the same. And if you're someone that thinks a Democrat, and I'm not saying all Democrats are perfect, but I'm saying equating Democrats to Republicans is just acting in such an incredible position of bad faith or ignorance that it's an unreasonable position to take. If you're someone that thinks they're all the same, that's probably because you're not a minority who's gonna get picked up by ICE even though, or harassed by ICE even though you're an American citizen. Like, you're probably from a position of advantage where, like, it is the same to you because your life doesn't meaningfully change when Trump's in office. But, like, there are lots of people out there whose lives were meaningfully changed for the worse because this man is now in office. All right. Let's be on the play this game. That sounds like a good plan. Yeah, I really hope Sanders, if Sanders picks a VP candidate before the primary and his VP candidate someone is like, I'll be voting for Sanders. In Alberta, our government is trying to change healthcare to private. Once that happens, a lot of people will be changing which state they live in, including my friend. Yeah, I don't blame you. Like risking going bankrupt because of your healthcare system is awful. I think build around submission for Pioneer at 35. There, it's all listed on my website. As a non-American, could you point to any positives in Republican policies? Are you being liberal that there's no reason to vote for one? Once upon a time, the Republican Party professed to be like the party of like fiscal responsibility and minimal government, but like anybody who believes that what they're actually doing is like willfully ignorant to like what they've actually done and the decisions they've made over the last decade, over the last 40 years. Box of shoes, thanks to 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Kazenti, thanks for the 22 months. You said Birdie needs to be a decade younger. Did you have a similar problem with him in 2016? I'm going to be completely honest. I was one of those middle-class white people in 2016 who knew they weren't going to be meaningfully impacted by these results and didn't think Trump could win anyways, so I wasn't involved in the political process. I voted for a third-party candidate in 2016. I also voted for a third-party candidate in 2016 because I'm from Illinois, and Illinois is always blue, so like part of me knew that as well. But I definitely was not involved, and I regret not being more involved in 2016. If more people had been more involved and cared in 2016, we would have not had the result that we had. All right, we were on the play with the goose. There's some this format. There's some Oko Goose is snowbally here too. Listen, I firmly believe part of being able to grow and change as a human is admitting when you're wrong, and I was wrong and didn't do things how I should have done them, knowing what I know now in 2016. Let's see if they remember how Smuggler's Copter works. Yeah, my local representative is LaHood. He was really close to getting moved out in 2016, so maybe we'll get lucky and he'll lose this year. The House district that I'm a part of is super gerrymandered, and I'm lumped in with a bunch of people, with a bunch of farmers. And people in more rural areas tend to skew red. Equinox, thanks for the 30 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. America's, if you're in the political minority in your state, you don't get a vote system, is bonkers. Yes, it is. It is completely bonkers. I like the way you discuss politics. Real conversations are about meeting people where they are in issues, not discussing political parties. Yeah, the problem is, though, Master, like, discussing political parties specifically is basically a shortcut because a Brutal Collective, thanks to the brand new Prime support, because in large part, if you actually get informed and get educated on the issues and like look at the details, like it's very clear which party is doing the right things and which one is not. Like which parties are which parties are paying lip service to certain ideals and which ones are not. We're about to end this man's entire career. Just put them in the garbage can, please. Goodbye, Felicia. We have successfully snowballed. This game feels pretty done. Got a huge board and they have no board. Yeah, this card's a spirit, huh? And it gives their other flying creature. This card, Imperium Eagle, seems sweet. That's a Squid Daddy. Big fan of Squid Daddy. Was that a gift sub? It wasn't, but I don't care. When I discuss things like healthcare, the real divide tends to be I want to make sure everyone gets asked at the risk of people taking advantage. I don't want everybody to take advantage of ask their or yeah. My favorite, and this is, I don't like to make the whole stream about politics, so I'm just gonna say this last thing, and then we're gonna move along and focus on the Magic, even though this game is mostly done. I think my favorite ignorant statement surrounding healthcare in the United States are the people who come at it from the position of they don't want to pay for other people's healthcare, which is just such an amazingly ignorant statement because it's completely against the idea that it shows a fundamental misunderstanding of how private insurance works. Like, the reason why private insurance works is because you're all putting money into a system together to pay for each other's healthcare. Because, that's what you already do. It's just, you're doing it for a small subset of people instead of doing it for everyone. I work with people who don't think their taxes pay for anything they use on a daily basis. Yep. Never forget that when you are defending America's current for-profit healthcare system, the thing you are actually defending is their CEO's rights to make millions of dollars per year at the expense of people who are sick. That's what you're defending when you defend America's current for-profit healthcare system. All right, so I think we're going to end step Squid Daddy here off the Scrapheap Scrounger. And we'll diddle the Spell Queller and some of their lands here. Get set up for a good attack next turn. Spell Queller this one, friendo. Yeah, that two-hider. I definitely experienced that too. My father does nothing but complain about their health insurance and just keeps voting for people that are not gonna help him. I just don't get it. All right, so the big bad wolf comes down here and eats this Spell Queller, so if they don't have a Rattle Chains here, they should be dead. They have a Rattle Chains. They can chump block their way out of this turn, but they're still probably dead the long turn. If they don't have a Rattle Chains, Essence Flux. Yeah, that's pretty good. So that bounces it and returns it to play, and if it's a spirit, it gets a 1/1 counter. That's unfortunate because now this is a 3/4. I think we still just fire up the Smuggler's Copter and head to work. Why didn't they Flux to counter the wolf? That's a good question. Should they print instant sorceries that have hexproof on the stack? That sounds messy. So they can eat the Smuggler's Copter, but then they're taking 8 down to 3. And Oko's hanging out here making all sorts of stuff. If insurance was better for buyers than sellers, there would be no insurance. All insurance is parasitic. Yeah, it's accurate. They're for-profit companies, right? Oh, did I miss lethal? I could have made this a 3. I missed lethal. I could have made this a 3/3. I'm aware that lethal's been missed. We're probably far enough ahead that it doesn't matter. I hadn't used Oko yet. Well, I didn't miss lethal, but I could have saved my Copter. So if I would have made this a 3/3, they would have had to chump block my 5/6. So they technically wouldn't be dead here, but I'd be worse. They'd be worse off because this would be gone. Yeah, Oko ticking up to a casual 14 here. How have I been enjoying this format? I've been enjoying this format a lot. This format reminds me of Modern before it sucked. This format reminds me about how I used to feel about Modern before they banned Splinter Twin and Birthing Pod. And honestly, it kind of feels even better than that. Like, it feels like the Twin Pod days without ever having to die to Tron Lands or Valakut. Like, no Blood Moon, no Ensnaring Bridge, no Chalice of the Void. Like, there's just so many rancid cards in Modern that we always just kind of shrugged and were like, well, that's just Magic. Sometimes you just don't get to play. Where it's like, getting to play this format now, where it's like, it's not just, well, we don't get to play. We get to, like, actually play most games is awesome. More Oko than Teferi for sure. Dismal Backwater. That must be a budget consideration, right? All right, let's cast Sidisi for the first time this league. To give you my feelings on the current Standard format, I have removed all Standard from my schedule this week. If you're one of my regular viewers waiting for Standard today, we're going to go back to Standard next week. And if you're someone who's not one of my regular viewers, we're doing Pioneer all day today and a bunch of Pioneer this week. If you like lots of Pioneer or you dislike less Standard, make sure you fill out my sub survey if you're a sub at the end of the week. Search your library for a basic land and put it onto the battlefield. Tap. That Farseek is legal in this format, right? Oh yeah, they're probably a Field of the Dead deck, right? Oh, Farseek is not? Okay. Oh, this is a split card. That makes sense. Right. Why would it show me that it's a split card while it's on the stack? Why would it do that? That's just too reasonable. I'm not a sub, but I'm only here due to Pioneer. That's great to hear. I've been enjoying Pioneer a lot. If you're someone that's been enjoying Pioneer and you're looking for even more of it, we've played 12 Pioneer decks before this one, and they're all up on my website and my YouTube channel. No, non-subs can chat using shillings now to the subs who are in chat. So the new channel points lets non-subs free to play. What's the CMC of a split card? The CMC of a split card while it's on the stack is whichever half is being cast. While it's in your hand or anywhere else, it's the sum total. I love Pioneer in your playstyle, but I hate watching Magic Online. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. Brawl on Wednesday will just be the queue. Trying to coordinate sub battles is awkward and difficult. All right, so I assume they're a Field of the Dead deck, so I'm going to cut these Wicked Wolves. I definitely want these Thoughtseizes. I may or may not want these Aether Gusts. Maybe I'm going to go less is more for the first one. Until we see more of their deck. How do shillings help me? So I don't get any actual dollars for shillings. Shillings are just an engagement driver that we're testing out. It also gives non-subs a chance to chat a little bit on occasion, which has mostly been fine. I think we've only banned like 2 or 3 people over the course of a week for being idiots with the shillings and the ability to chat. Goofy Hat Matt, thanks for the half a year. Welcome back. No, the shillings are Twitch currency that's built into Twitch directly. their Field of the Dead deck isn't trophy better than Thoughtseize. So once they get Field online, we're probably losing the game. So the idea is that I want Thoughtseize to disrupt their setup before they get to Field with lands. People are less inclined to post rancid trash when they feel like they're paying for the right to speak. Yep. Yeah, I love Pioneer so far. I hope they bring it to Arena soon. Hoping they bring it to Arena soon is a pretty vain hope. Maybe someday. We got you, Arjun. Tinnell, thanks for the brand new Prime support. Welcome to Hoaglandia. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are. I'm going to keep this. Hopefully we draw an Oko. That's actually a pretty okay draw, because it means my turn 2 gets to be Bloodsoaked plus Scrapheap Scrounger. Yeah, the way Wizards has managed Arena so far, I feel like they only ever want it to be standard, so... Yeah, they publicly post all of the day 2 MCQ decks. Well, they just ended our entire career, chat. In one fell swoop, our entire career was ended. Are we dead? I think we're dead. Alright, with cards like Gallitas, I'm gonna bring Trophy in. Sidisi's too slow. I guess I have Oko. I'm gonna bring 2 trophies in, so I have 3 Okos still. So the data I found says 91% of people are playing Forest and 67% at Oko. That's accurate. And if I recall correctly, 75% of the top 16 was Oko. Yeah, this is fine. Notably, this hand is very reasonable against their -2/-2 sweeper. Oko's been miserable to play against in Pioneer. I disagree with that. I think Oko's just like the good aggro decks we've played have felt fine against Oko just because they're pretty powerful. I think Oko's gonna be one of those things that helps people realize that like their bad decks are bad. But like the decks that we've played that have like actually felt good have been fine. Trying to speculate what Wizards is gonna do with their ban list is silly, and I don't do it. Just a waste of energy. Thanks for the 10 months, Suchin. The MTGO Pioneer Challenge deck list should go up on MTGO.com at some point, but I don't know when exactly. In terms of power level, do you prefer if all decks were 8s or if all decks were 3s? Definitely if all decks are 8s. Playing with powerful cards is fun. Playing with powerful cards is a good thing. My opponent's second turn and they have 4 lands in play. Yikes. Yeah, it probably copies Field eventually, and until it's ready to copy Field, it gets to just be a differently named land, I'd imagine. Morning, Tidra. Yep. Love the mono blue Pioneer list because Thassa doesn't get Oko'd and the Elks keep their devotion symbols around. That's great. Thassa does get Oko'd once she's a 5/5 though, right? if I recall correctly. Your opponent has Scapeshift in their deck? Very likely. Scapeshift is legal. Scrapheap Scrounger. Rats. Ooh, Smuggler Shopper's pretty good though. It can get Oko'd. I think getting Oko'd is a verb. I think that fits. They have a sweeper here of some sort. They're just drawing 2 cards. Ugh. Oh no. Oh no. We tried so hard and got so far, but in the end it doesn't even matter anymore. Thanks for the 13 months, Billy Zane Jr. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yep. All right. Let the field of the dead commence. Bloodghast is not legal in Pioneer. So this lets me bring back Bloodsoaked Champion. So we're probably dead here. BRB going to speculate on Pioneer staple case of credit. It definitely put us in our place. Spring seems like a sweet card in their deck. So it's a 3-mana ramp spell in the front half, but on the back half, it can draw 2 cards for 6 mana, which is pretty sweet. Hey, Pico, thanks for the 3rd of your support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. All right, all of my friends come back into play here, so... Oh yeah, Mind is also an instant. I missed that. Oh yeah, I guess the amalgams don't come back if they don't kill the other ones, right? Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe I'm supposed to only attack with these 2 and like leave the others back as blockers. I could see that. Cyclonic Rift is legal. So I played Satyr Wayfinder here so we could hopefully do exactly that. We found a Bloodsoaked Champion to get back. So next turn I could attack and then get back my 3 Prized Amalgams. Yep. So they have 3 Fields of the Dead now, so probably Dunzo. Every land is making 6 power. Another Hour of Promise, maybe? Yeah. They can have 5 fields. Sick. Opponent's build's really sweet. Alright, so we went 2 and 3. This deck felt pretty middling. Prized Amalgam, Scrapheap Scrounger. These cards felt too fair for this format. Like, I feel like what we're doing at our peak just wasn't really good enough. Elder Deep-Fiend felt pretty reasonable. We definitely stole some games by just like chaining Elder Deep-Fiends together, which is something that this card does. Later today, the last Pioneer deck we're going to play today is a blue-green Eldrazi deck with 4 Elder Deep-Fiends, so I'm excited to see that one play out later. Up next, after this one, we are going to dive into this Jeskai Possibility Storm deck here, which has some sweet combos inside of it. Before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and run a quick ad break so I can get my stuff updated everywhere. Be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Lots more